Hi friends, it's Gwen. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here to share a poetry haul with you. As you know, I recently posted my review of Milk and Honey, and a lot of you have been saying that you really enjoyed that review. So thank you so much. I really did enjoy this poetry collection, but that kind of like brought about my need for more poetry. Plus, like I said in that review, something had happened in my life, and that is that I lost my dog. She passed away on January 30th, 2017 at 11:40 in the morning. That date and time will forever be burnt into my memory because she was my best friend and she meant a lot to me. I had her for 10 years and my mom had her approximately 8 years prior to me. So she lived a very long and happy and healthy life. So for that reason, I wanted to pick up some more poetry. I was just in the mood for it, and I'm so glad that I was, because it's something that I've really neglected on my channel before, not only here on YouTube, but just in my reading in general. And I think poetry can be a great thing, but as with any novel out there, there's going to be ones that you like and ones that you don't. So let's go ahead and jump into my poetry haul. I picked up two at Barnes & Noble. I picked up Mouthful of Forevers by Clementine von Radix. I already did read this one, so I probably will do a full review of it, but this just talks about love, life, the uncertainties and beauty of life. And I ended up rating this one 2 stars because the symbolism in this one didn't really fit my own, and the writing style was very difficult because there were certain stanzas I loved within one poem and then others that I didn't even understand how the stanzas fit together. But this is actually titled after a poem that was posted on Tumblr that kind of like burned up. It like became really popular, and then this was published. It's a cute little cover, and I think that poetry is something you can revisit again and again, and each time that you read it, it may or may not mean something new, or you know, you may connect with it a little bit differently. Next one that I picked up is I Wrote This For You by Please Find This, also known as Ian S. Thomas, and this has been on the bestsellers list for years. And there's actually another one. It has like a softer gray cover, but it's contemporary poetry, and it also includes photography, and these are usually really short poems. I'll just do a quick flip through. But I picked up my copy from Barnes & Noble, and like I said, there's another one that has a softer gray cover, but contemporary poetry with photography. It has that college textbook smell because of the glossy pages inside. Kind of loving it. I picked up 2 from Amazon. I picked up Stuff I've Been Feeling Lately by Alicia Cook, and I like this because it's like one of those old mixed tapes, so that's how it was designed in that style. And also I tabbed this to tell you there's a dedication right here in the front that says, "This book is dedicated to anyone who loves someone struggling with addiction. All royalties earned will be donated directly to the Willow Tree Center in New Jersey." And it gives the website, and I think that is amazing for this poet to do that. So it is kind of designed like a mixtape. Side A talks about, you know, human condition, life, love, loss, moving on, evolving, and so all of those are on side A. And then on side B, she's taken her poems and done some black out poetry with it. And also there are songs listed at the bottom currently listening to, and it just has like some nostalgic tunes that go along like while she was writing that. So I am really liking this so far. I actually, when I saw it on Amazon, I read track 2, and that is the track that made me buy this complete collection. It's just called track 2, and it says, "You always want one more day. You always want one more picture as the old ones begin to fade. You always want that one final hug to have lasted just a tad longer. You always want the fondness of the remember whens to outnumber the might have beens. You want more years, more months, more weeks, more days, more minutes, and more seconds. You want the happily ever after you always thought you deserved, but the only thing actually promised in this life is uncertainty." hits me in the feels every time I read it. Love this, love the poet. Definitely check it out. The second one that I picked up from Amazon is The Chaos of Longing, a poetry collection by K.Y. Robinson. And she seems like a really lovely poet. I've heard good things about this poetry collection. It's divided into 4 sections: Inception, Longing, Chaos, and Epiphany. And it's draped in raw honesty, ache, and eroticism. So I love the design of this and I can't wait to get into it. The rest of these books I picked up on Book Outlet, and I'm so happy that their poetry collection had some good things to choose from. The first one that I saw and I immediately decided to get was Set the Shotgun to the Head, a poem by Saul Williams. This guy is like, I have heard nothing but good things about this poem, and it's not a collection, it's just one poem. So, and the way it's written and laid out, it's like got bigger words and taller words and smaller words. And it's like, I don't know, it's very cool how it's laid out. It's kind of like that live and die in the moment type thing, and the confrontations of politics. So I think it's kind of like relevant, and I've just been hearing great things about this poem and about this poet in general, so I'm really excited to have it. I did see this one in Barnes & Noble, but I'm glad that I got it on Book Outlet because it was so much cheaper. So the next one that I have here is How to Be Alone, a poem by Tanya Davis, and a lot of people either like this or hate it. And what it is it's one poem, one illustrated poem, based on a popular viral video, but a lot of people didn't understand that it was going to be like, some people said it's like child, illustrations, like children's book illustrations, but that is what the entire book looks like, just like this. So if that's not your thing, go ahead and take a pass on this one, but I'll read it and let you know what I think. One is Honeybee by Naomi Nye, and this is 82 poems and paragraphs about the essentials of our time, our loved ones, war, memories, our planet in general, and it's just a classic poetry laid out type book. It doesn't have illustrations or anything like that. Okay, this next one that I have is Hidden by Helen Frost, and this isn't a collection of poetry or poems, but it is written in verse, like Ellen Hopkins writes, but this is a story told in verse about, there's alternating viewpoints between Rin and Dara, and what happens is when the girls are 8 years old, I believe, Dara's father steals a minivan, but in the minivan is Rin, and so she's basically kidnapped, and then it's many years later, or the latter half of the story is many years later, they bump into each other at like a camp, and it just sounds very interesting, like a story, and I like to see how stories can be told in verse and be just as powerful as regular stories or poetry in general. So I decided to pick this up. The next one is The Auroras, new poems by David St. John. Now, I do not know hardly anything about this collection at all, but this poet, David St. John's, I hear amazing things about him. People say his writing is transcendent, it's beautiful, it's captivating. I just hear amazing, positive things about this poet. So when I saw one of his newer collections on Book Outlet, I decided to pick it up. He's been writing poetry since the early 70s. So he has a lot of collections out there. Some are limited edition, and I hope I love this collection because it's the first one I've picked up by him. And the last one that I have to show you is Lemonade and Other Poems Squeezed from a Single Word by Bob Raxa. I didn't really look up how to say his name, but this is another quite interesting poetry book. It's something you're either gonna like or you're gonna hate, but the poet saw someone else take a single word and from that word write a poem, but it's very hard to explain. Okay, so as you can see right here, he took the word lemonade, and only using the letters from the word lemonade, he made a poem of it. So it may seem kind of confusing what he was going for, but then on the next page, he actually has the poem. Made one ad, added one lemon load, and one mom. So here's another example. Using the word bleachers, He lines up the letters that he uses to show you that he's only using the letters from the actual word itself. So there's bleachers, and then here is the poem. So those are my recent poetry books or collection that I have so far. I do have a few others on my radar. I have added them to my wish list as I'm getting into poetry. As I read these poetry books, I will do my best to review them on my channel for you. If there are any in particular that you are interested in hearing more thoughts about, please let me know and I will make sure to do an individual review for that poetry collection or poem when I read it. But that's all I have for you today. I hope you've enjoyed this collection haul of poetry, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye!